It's a mysterious story with very few answers. A North Carolina mother of 4 and exotic bulldog breeder vanishes. But when she's found, even more questions arise.
And my friend just got murdered, like flat out murdered in the woods somewhere in front of her 4-year-old. And that's something I'll never sit right with me.
This is 32-year-old Alba Doreen Wade, who lived in Brunswick County, North Carolina. That's just southwest of Wilmington. On July 15th, Elba was set to meet up with one of her friends, Anastasia, who you'll hear from later in this story. So the pair were texting during this time, and in retrospect, Elba's texts seem kind of off. So when Anastasia arrives at the place they're supposed to meet, Elba is nowhere to be found. From there, dozens of first responders begin the search for Elba. Local TV stations report that 137 people joined in the search from 18 different agencies. The search included things like fire departments, sheriff's offices, helicopters, and even four-wheelers. The investigation soon zeroed in on a wooded area of a place called Colonel Landing in the North Carolina town of Bolivia. There, inside the woods, Elba was found dead. But that's where all of our information ends. Investigators in Brunswick County say there's no threat to the public and that Elba's death is still under investigation, but they won't say how she died. I reached out to the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office for more information, but only got voicemail. So I turned to Elba's friends, Caitlin Maynard and Anastasia, who both suspect foul play in the case. So how do both of you know Elba?
I met her actually when she first moved down here from Oklahoma. It's crazy. She actually moved in with me. Her significant other at the time was my husband's brother. And they moved into my house, and we probably didn't speak for about 2 weeks straight. And we were just like looking at each other, kind of like feeling each other out. And when we finally clicked, it was inseparable ever since. For sure.
Yeah, she came to me because I am a color specialist. She wanted hair services from me, and that's how we connected. And after her first session, it was no longer a client situation.
How would you guys describe her personality? What was she like?
She was outgoing, bubbly, like one of the most like uplifting, positive people you could be around, no matter the situation. She liked to sugarcoat things a lot, but
she did.
She was a very just phenomenal woman.
She was definitely radiant and infectious, and like it's just anyone that knew her was you gravitated to her for sure. She was like a magnet.
Right.
And she didn't, even if she was going through adversity, you would never know it because she would never ever want anyone to show her weakness. She didn't want to show her weaknesses. She didn't.
And she would never let them babies see anything she felt. Anything. And that's definitely like inspiring to me.
According to Alba's obituary, she was the mother of 4 children. What kind of mom was she like?
Oh, she's the most caring, like people would say she's doing too much, but she is a phenomenal mother. She cares about them boys more than her life itself and would do anything in the world when it comes to them.
Yeah, and there's two, like the one of the guys she was married to, the father to her 2 of her children, he's married to another lady, and she's their stepmom, and she will rave on her. Like she tells the boys all the time how,
no one speaks badly.
No, they don't
on her, really.
You can't
at all.
You can't find nothing bad to say, no matter what. You can't find nothing bad to say about the person that she was.
Elba's friends want answers in her death. And one of the reasons we're able to bring you this story is because of our sponsors. So I wanted to highlight one right now. That's City Lips. I recently started using City Lips and honestly am in love. There's so much I could talk about, but there's 2 main things. It's the color variety for any sort of occasion, and of course, the moisturizing factor. I love both. I wear makeup both on camera, but also out with my friends when I'm hanging out, whatever I may be doing, and there's a color for every single occasion. What's really cool about City Lips is that it doesn't dry out your lips when you put it on either, so your color looks super cute, but also there's moisture. Right now, you can get 15% off City Clips with the code LAW15 or go to citybeauty.com/LCnews. Elba also had a hobby she was very passionate about, breeding exotic bulldogs. She even moved to North Carolina from Oklahoma to pursue this dream, and her friends say this passion took Elba all over.
She didn't just localize herself to this space. She was a road runner.
Yeah,
so she could from here to Oklahoma,
for sure.
like for sure. She did dog shows. She was the best in the dog Frenchies. Like she won every time she went with her dogs.
She created her own bloodline from scratch and just built on that. And she was just
she traveled for that too. Miami, Texas, South Carolina, right. Columbia, South Carolina, all kinds of places she went for dog shows. So there's so many people she interacted with.
Yes, so many people know her and have received her spirits, like her vibes and energy.
So, at this point, like I feel like it could be anybody. Because she come in contact with so many people.
The last time anyone heard from Elba was on July 15th, and she'd made plans to meet up with a friend. And Anastasia, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that you had plans to meet up with her on July 15th?
Yeah, we had went back and forth. That's just what we do. And she's like, okay, you come meet me and I'll meet you. And then I'll come to you and then you come to me. And it's just back and forth. And, within a 45-minute transit to her, I lost touch with her. I pulled up and nothing. She was not there where she stayed. So I just don't know. There's just a huge gray area there. That's where I'm stuck, is just the gray area of what happened. How did she disappear like that on me?
So fast.
It was just out of nowhere. Because the last text message, she asked me where she was almost. I let Caitlin read the messages. The detective, she has all the messages, but I've read them 1,000 times, and I keep thinking. I told Caitlin the other night, I said, I feel like she was rushing me in her own way. I said, and you know how she was. She wouldn't say something was wrong, but I feel like she was rushing me.
She sugarcoats things. Like I said in the beginning, she's top-notch sugarcoater. Like
she was. She didn't want nobody to see her weak.
No.
And she said, where are you at, several times on my transit there. And then the last thing she said, I kept telling her, I said, I'm on the way. And then the last thing she said was, yo. And within, I would say 30 some minutes, maybe, I pulled up and my messages weren't sending no more. She wasn't there. She was gone.
When you were going back and reading the texts, I know you said you've gone through them like 1,000 times, I'm sure, going through and seeing what did I miss. What were the texts like? Is there any sort of red flag now looking back at them?
Like I said, I told her after reading them, after she said it, like, where are you at? She said it like 3 or 4 times, I think. And I was like, I'm coming. I'm on the way. And I didn't see any red flags at all until I just kept reading them. And
she's hard to read. She's different. She's special. Like,
she wouldn't have never done that to me, though. She would have never left me.
No.
She actually wanted to come spend the night with me, her and Carson. She wanted me to come pick her up. Whether we were going to do that or not, who knows? But I was on my way to her. And, she would have never done that to me. She would have never just left and not said anything. So.
And now we're just stuck with, like, no type of validation, any type of
no closure. Nothing.
Yeah, closure.
Nothing.
It's what it really amounts to.
At what point does it go from, we have these texts, we're meeting up, she doesn't show up, to now she's reported missing and we know that something is wrong? What was that like?
Me and Caitlin were not friends until Alba.
2 days before.
Yeah, and we knew about each other. But we never just kind of hung out. And then Caitlin was calling me on Snapchat, and I was like, why is Caitlin calling me? And I felt a weird feeling, and I was like, I'm not answering that phone. Did I not text you and be like, what's up?
Yeah.
I was like, what's up? And she just texted me back, and she's like, Alba's missing. And I'm like.
It wasn't until the next morning that we got the call.
Yeah.
Both her friends say disappearing like this just wasn't normal for Alba. And you guys have mentioned she was a great mother. According to your accounts, she was a lovely friend. Is it something within her character to just disappear, especially when she had plans?
Not without telling us. She would say, I even have like text messages of her being like, okay, I'll be right back. I'm going right down the street. I'm going to the store. I'm taking Weston, which is her 16-year-old.
Especially not with them boys.
No.
She's not, no, that's not the kind of woman she is.
Mm-mm.
No.
With this in mind, more than 100 first responders came out in the search for Alba. And I know there was major response there, at least according to the articles I'm seeing, like dozens of first responders were going through and searching for her. So had she been reported missing, everyone was just trying to track her down?
Who reported her?
I don't even know.
I don't either. I just think whoever Carson's door, whoever she walked up,
Carson,
whoever he walked up to and knocked on the door and said his mother was not responding is probably who reported it.
Yeah, because the 4-year-old, he was supposedly came out the woods and found his way to somebody's house. So I'm thinking that is exactly what that is. That's pretty much what alerted everyone. Yeah, so he's in the middle of this, so that makes it even worse. Is just the things he's been through too. So, other than that, I would have never thought to call the cops until she was missing. You know, I just thought she was just doing her, because that's what she does. But it was weird because she would have never left me like that. So I just didn't think nothing of it, though. I didn't.
This part hasn't been reported or confirmed by the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office, but according to Elba's friends, her 4-year-old son Carson is the one who sounded the alarm. So explain this part to me. He was in the woods wandering and just ran to somebody's door?
Yeah, they said there was reports. We're not sure how true it was, but there was definitely reports that he wandered around for 12 hours looking for help for his mother.
He said some kind of
he went to sleep with his mom
in the mud. Said he was in the mud with his mommy.
Yeah, and went to find help when the sun came up.
Do you have any idea why they would have been in this wooded area?
Other than somebody dragging her in there.
Yeah, no.
She wouldn't have went there.
No.
Not with him.
No, and she already couldn't walk.
She liked to take him. They liked to be on adventures in the woods, but the way her ankle was from the 2 days prior, she was injured. She couldn't walk. There was no way she was in the woods just exploring with him like that. There was a lot of
there's a lot of build up to everything that did happen.
Elba's friends tell me they can't really get into that buildup or the backstory into her disappearance, but they do say something was really off. And I know one of the reasons that you both are speaking out right now is because you suspect foul play in all of this.
Not a doubt in my mind.
There's no doubt in our minds.
I don't suspect anything.
We just don't have, they just don't have anybody in custody.
So there's no one in custody, no one charged, and really no answer for how Elba died either. And I know right now officials haven't even given her official cause of death, so we don't know for sure how she died.
No. Not to the what is it, autopsy?
Autopsy. They said they're waiting on toxology too, but the detective said that it would take 3 months for the autopsy to come back.
It sounds like you both believe she was injured ahead of all of this. She wouldn't have walked off alone with her young 4-year-old son to go into this wooded area. So do you think there was someone who lured her in there, or a person is responsible for all this?
Yes.
Person or persons?
Yes. Person or persons, yes.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea who that could be?
Yeah, but
we can't really speak on that right now with the investigation and everything going on. We're just hoping.
There's a lot of backstory to this too, just leading that could potentially be
right
what had happened. So,
do you think, based on what you're saying, this backstory or whatever was leading up to her death, that all of this, I guess that's the reason why we believe there's foul play, because something nefarious was at play prior to all this?
Yes, I definitely agree with that.
Yes, and the fact that we could not have an open casket.
Is that something that you and her family had wanted, was to have an open casket, and it was ruled out right away?
Yeah, she was going to be open. I was going to do her hair.
And they wouldn't allow that?
I couldn't do it.
No.
She was not in any condition to do it.
And do you have any idea what sort of condition that would be?
A lot of
can't really speak on that really either.
Just a lot of trauma.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely foul play. Definitely foul play.
Definitely.
Brunswick County says Alba's death is still under investigation, but her friends still have questions. And what are investigators there saying to you? I know that they haven't listed a cause or manner of death, but are they talking to you and giving you any info?
Barely.
No, they barely respond to me.
We have to chase them. We have one detective we talked to on the case, and she's been very understanding, and she moves, but she don't move fast enough for me. She don't move like she should for me.
Yeah, we just want answers, and they don't seem to care as much about that as they
catching somebody for drugs.
Yeah, they'd rather be focused on petty. And my friend just got murdered, like flat out murdered in the woods somewhere in front of her 4-year-old, and that's something I'll never sit right with me.
This part has not been confirmed by the authorities, but Elba's friends say her son has already spoken with law enforcement.
They already tried to question Carson with a forensics child psychologist, and he just didn't talk. So
he's a 4-year-old. He shuts down. Once
did.
Something
He's
like
not,
that happens, you're gonna shut everything out.
He's suppressing it for sure. You can tell he's seen some things that he should not have seen because, at first being around him, he would just kind of daze out, and you could tell he was just kind of reliving the whole situation. And I just wish I could be in his mind and know, because he definitely knows everything that happened.
He deserves to be at peace. He needs finally something to put him at ease right now is what he needs more than anything in this world.
All that is the big reason why her friends are sharing Alba's story. And you have been pretty outspoken. I know you're talking to me. You spoke to local TV stations. What is behind the impetus for this? Why you want to get her story out?
She's got a 16-year-old little boy that has so many questions. He's got so many questions, and I can't answer them.
Yeah, and he understands everything. So.
Yeah. So them boys deserve closure, and if that means that we have to speak on it, that's just what's got to happen. We need answers. We need. Yeah. She deserves that. Because that girl wouldn't have done that to herself. That girl wouldn't have put them boys through that. She loved them little boys with everything she had in her.
What's done in the dark always comes to the light. Somebody knows something.
Somebody has to. There's no way around it. There's no one person that could have. There's not. There's a line of something that's going on.
Alba's death is still under investigation, and anyone with more information should reach out to the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office. We did reach out to them for more info on this story, but we've not yet heard back. Reporting for Law&Crime, I'm Gillespie.